Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, A Love Song for Bobby Long, 2004. We're going back in time. Obviously you might be interested in learning what this review is about, so you clicked on it. Evidently, some woman, headstrong woman, goes back to New Orleans after the death of her estranged mother. That's what IMDb tells us. So, I have absolutely no idea what this movie is about. I do know that Scarlett Johansson's in it, John Travolta, Gabriel Macht, if you know him from Suits, and that's all I'm noticing. Clayne Crawford from Lethal Weapon, a TV series, before he got fired. So somebody recommended it to me, probably my father-in-law, and I think, but John Travolta's in it. Let's check it out. I will watch it a little bit. It's an hour and 59 minutes, so it's a little bit longer. Hour 59:51, so it's just about 2 hours. But I'll watch it a little bit, give you a better idea of what really the movie's about, because that was useless. But I'll also let you know what I think of it. Everybody else thinks it's a 7.2. So IMDb has it at a 7.2. That's why I'm also watching it. I have all these movies listed, and I go through to see what's the highest rated one I have left. Then I can watch it home. 7.2 is close. There was another one too. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about A Love Song for Bobby Long. And I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching A Love Song for Bobby Long. I don't completely grasp it just yet, but I'll tell you what I do know. So Scarlett Johansson plays a teenage girl, and she was living with Crawford. Crawford was her boyfriend, so he was only in a cameo there, but see his hair, it's kind of funny. Anyway, finds out that her mother has died, her estranged mother, as we know, and she goes back to New Orleans to, go to the house. And she goes to the house, and that's where Gabriel Macht and John Travolta are. And they live there. And they tell her that her mother left the house to the three of them. So each one of them has a third. I believe that to be a lie, but there's no truth to that yet. There is some sort of secret that they're not sharing with her at this point. But anyway, she comes back to New Orleans, and she decides she's going to move in with them. So now they're all living together. What the relationship with John Travolta and Gabriel Macht's characters are to her mother, I'm not completely sure. They seem like they were close to her in some form or fashion, but I don't understand it that much. I also don't understand their role together. I know that John Travolta's character was a professor who had left Auburn University, and Gabriel Macht was his teaching assistant, and they left at the same time. They talk about possible romance together, but it doesn't seem like they are together. So I'm not sure about that. And it also seems like Gabriel's character has a little crush on Scarlett Johansson at this point. He is also writing a book, and I believe John Travolta's character is trying to help him with that. And it might be even about him, from what I'm gathering. Meanwhile, throughout the day, all the two of them do is drink all day long. They go into like the woods in a sense with a group of people, play songs, hang out, and then just drink and enjoy the day. That's all they do for the most part. She is trying to look for work, and then they come to the realization that she has never graduated from high school. So John Travolta does a little bit for her and gets her into her senior year. I think she skipped sophomore, junior, and senior year, but he advances her into senior, and so they're trying to get her. So they start to create a friendship between the three of them. Initially it wasn't that way, but now it is, and they're trying to help her go through school. That's what's going on. So there's a lot to learn about this. I need to understand what is their relationship with her mother, and possibly to her. What is their relationship to each other? What is the secret that they're keeping? That's what we're interested in at this point, and we've still got a whole hour left of this movie to figure all that out. But so far, very interesting movie. I like all three of them, and I think they're all doing a phenomenal job in this. It's in New Orleans, with the music and the party life, and essentially they just go to bars and stuff like that, not seeing jazz groups or stuff like that. But anyway, that's it. I'll get back into it. Somewhat of a better idea now that you have somewhat of a better idea, at least what I know about this movie so far, better than what IMDb gave us. So I'll start it again and see where it takes us. Stick around. I'll be back. One thing real quick, forgot to mention, and it just reminded me as I started the movie back up. John Travolta was married, does have kids, and he is kind of estranged from them as well now. So I believe him and him and Gabriel's character are not romantically together, although there was some sort of reference to romance between the two of them, but there's no other evidence behind that. And when he mentioned about his kids and his wife, or from before, it reminded me, so I wanted to step in real quick and share that with you. So sorry. We'll get back into it again, and I'll see you in a little bit. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of a long love song for Bobby Long. Pardon me, sorry. So, really good movie. I was completely mistaken by the romance piece between the two of them. I think it's, when they mentioned romance, they meant in a platonic kind of way, that he idolized him as a professor and as a, colleague and stuff like that. And that's all that was meant there. Because then, as I mentioned, John Travolta's character had a wife and kids. And then in the very next scene, they show, which was played out throughout the entire movie, Gabriel's girlfriend. So there was nothing going on there, but there is a history there between the two of them and how they ended up where they are in this house, and their relationship with Scarlett Johansson's mother. That's all. That all becomes clear. Some of the questions that I had early, everything pretty much becomes clear and very impactful. And that exactly what I was talking about is what the whole movie was about. And it's hard for me to get into details without spoiling any of it. Some of the things, that I really enjoyed about the movie, I thought the acting was great. At least I liked the characters. Whether the acting was good or not, whatever. The characters, I liked everybody's character. I thought they had, even John Travolta's character, who comes off, as, he's an alcoholic and above everybody else, but there is some qualities within this character that you really start to like, and especially as their friendship builds, you obviously start to like him. And Gabriel's character, again, another alcoholic, but kind of a romantic in a sense, you can see, as he's a writer and stuff like that. And then of course Scarlett Johansson, I think this is, I don't know when she became, really, really big, but in this role, you don't see, I don't know, I guess in other roles I see her and I think to myself, like, she knows she's, the hot thing in Hollywood right now. This one I didn't get that. She plays an 18-year-old, so this might be before, anything major. Maybe not. Who cares? Her character I liked. I did like her character a lot. So, and then they bring in all the other side characters, through New Orleans. I talked about the people in the woods, in a sense. It's right across the street, essentially. But that's where everybody hangs together and they become a small little family. And so all of those people are fun and interesting to watch. This movie is full of book quotes, which I don't know any of them. But as writers and as a professor, they like to quote a lot of different things. And overall, I think it's a really good movie. I'm surprised I've never seen it before. It's worth watching for sure. And without going into too many more details, as I said previously, all the questions that I have eventually become answered and are worth it, and good answers to my questions. I like the plot, where it was going, and I like the way that they tied everything together. And, I like the way that they ended the movie. So, I'll probably give it myself, not an 8, maybe a 7. Close to an 8, though. It was that good. I liked it a lot. 2 hours seemed a little bit long for me, but it was worth it. So there you have it. That's my comments on a love song from Bobby Long. If you've seen it, let me know if we agree. If you haven't seen it, check it out and then come back and leave me some comments and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.